Yes, certainly.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome back to the Same Old Arsenal podcast. Thanks for coming back and joining us for episode 19. It's just the same old Arsenal. Title of the podcast. If you get what I mean. It looks like it's going to be Groundhog Day again. People are telling me not to worry. There's still two weeks left. But that is the point that I want to put to you. Yes, that is absolutely correct. There is only 2 weeks left. And in my humble opinion, we are far from ready for the beginning of this season. I'm so frustrated this week because I've actually sat down and thought to myself, we've been had again. We have been had again. Everything looks rosy. We signed Lacazette. We got him into the team before we went out to Australia and over to China. There was talks that Arsene Wenger was going to bring in 3 or 4 more players. We all got excited. Here we are. 2 weeks to go. A week before we play Chelsea. And we're still not ready. Guests joining me this evening. It is an absolute pleasure to welcome back my boy Memz. Memz, how are you doing, boy?
Great. It's an absolute pleasure to be back. Thanks for inviting me on. And we're really looking forward to tonight, mate. Got loads to talk about.
Cheers, mate. It's great to have you back. Judge, what celebrity parties have you been to this week?
I was in the director's box on.
Here we go.
On Saturday at the Emirates, which was a fantastic experience.
How did you get in there?
Hey, through Michelle's contacts, you know what I mean. So you can only get those. I do believe you can only get them when it's either like something like the Emirates Cup or the Legends Games. You know, the Legends Games last year. It is an experience.
So, is it better than what you've done against Sunderland?
Yeah, it's just different class. You know, you're actually mingling with. We're sitting there having a bit of food, and Danny Welbeck walks past. It's just incredible, like, do you know what I mean? I had to take 2 and go, right, it's Danny Welbeck, like, you know. And then so all the players where we were sitting, all the players were sitting there before they was watching the other game. And then, like, at a certain time, you know, someone come along and said, right, you've got to go now. So they all walked past and into the lift, and, you know, it was just incredible.
Did any of them say, all right, Lee?
No, because I was busy on the champers and eating my dinner, and I didn't realise where they were. But the next day we didn't go in it. So the next day I would have realised, and I would have gone and sat with them. But because, you know, a bit of inexperience, I didn't know that they was all sitting out and where we were sitting. But, you know, a fantastic experience, and a good day all round. You know, cool. 1-5-2 as well. So that was
my brother actually. My brother was there on Sunday. He took his little girl up and his wife. Bit of a shitter, really, wasn't it? We were talking.
I'll tell you what. The only good thing about the Emirates Cup, I'll tell you what is a good thing about it, is that you're seeing so many happy little faces,
kids,
kids and things.
Absolutely.
They don't get a chance to go. Obviously, you know, all the money men at Arsenal were rubbing their hands because, you know, the actual shops were absolutely. They were queuing up to get into them, buying the new kit. I've got to say this, that I see about the majority of the people buying the blue kit. I can't believe it. Like, I mean, unbelievable how many, you know, obviously they see something in it that I don't, but 1 in 4, I think we was counting people that had bought things because we were sitting there just watching and had bought the blue kit. And it was, you know, this is why Arsenal, Craig, will never be successful at this ever in my lifetime again, because we come 5th in the league last season. We was crap. You know, we've bought no players really, only Lacazette, which is realistically £40 million we spent because we've gained £15 million back on Szczesny. And that the shirt sales on those 2 days was massive. And, you know, why do they need to spend money when everybody's churning it out? I couldn't believe what I see. Honestly, Craig, it was like the queues to get into the place was unbelievable. And when we got into the shop, you know, we went into the one where the Emirates was. it was they'd put up little barriers around so people could queue up for what they get. Half the store was packed with people waiting to spend their money. I couldn't believe it, like, you know.
Wow.
But and that's why Arsenal will never be successful, I'm afraid.
It's depressing, isn't it?
No, everything about
the season ain't even started yet. Let's come on.
Everything about it at the moment.
We find ourselves, like Memz just said, the season hasn't even started yet. Yeah, and people are on Twitter, and people like me who, and I'll use myself as an example, people who follow me on Twitter know that I get extremely pissed off very quickly. And I can knee-jerk a lot. I do knee-jerk a lot when I'm watching games or things happen, like, you know, we'd be 2-0 down and I'll knee-jerk it and we'll come back and win 3-2 and everything's rosy. But it's 2 weeks away. And people, and like I said at the top of as we started, that's the point. People need to sit down and say, shit, it is only 2 weeks away. Yeah, and we play Leicester. And Memz, I don't know about you, mate, but we're far from ready, mate. We are far from ready.
Yeah, I mean, if I compare the strength of the team from this time last season, I think we are slightly stronger because I compare the left back we brought in from Schalke, and from looking at him in the Emirates, I thought he was an absolute top player. He looked absolutely mustard. I think he was involved in like 3 of the goals. Looks really solid. He's a big, strong lad. I think he's a welcome addition to the squad. I think a lot of people have forgotten about him. And certainly, if you compare him to Kieran Gibbs, I think he's a much better player. We've signed Mustafi, obviously last year, but if you compare the squad that we've got now compared to the squad that started the season last season, I certainly think we are stronger than what we started with last season. But yeah, you're right, Craig. If I can say that this squad, if it's going to be strong enough to win the league, I would say no. In all honesty, I think the squad that we've got at the moment will probably be challenging for top 4 again, at best. I do think that we are probably 2 or 3 players short. I think one thing that was evident, I don't know if Lee would agree with me as well, is that during all the pre-season games that we've had throughout the tour and throughout the Emirates, we haven't had a solid back 3. The defence has been a mismatch in every game. We've seen Maitland-Niles playing there. We've seen El Neni playing there.
Embarrassing.
It's been a complete shambles.
Okay, I just want to come in there, Mem. Sorry, but I just want to say that well done to Maitland-Niles and well done to El Neni for stepping in and doing a job they were asked to do. It's not their fault. They find themselves playing out of position.
Absolutely not. And Maitland-Niles is a quality young player, and it brings me back to memories of, remember Seb Larsson when he was at Arsenal? When he broke into the team, he was being asked to play at left back, and everyone thought he was utter shit, excuse my language, because he was a centre mid playing at left back, and he got absolutely ruined by the majority of the fan base because he wasn't being playing in his natural position. And he's developed on, and credit to him, he's made a career in the Premier League, so well done Seb Larsson. My only fear is that when you start playing players out of position, obviously that it's not their natural position, they're not going to be shown, and they might not get a chance to shine. Going back to the centre-back position, I mean, in my opinion, pre-season games is the chance that you've got to make a solid back 3 or a solid back 4, and they can all start playing together as a unit. They all start understanding each other's game. So for me, you've got to play your strongest back 3 in your pre-season games, getting them ready for the start of the season. We all saw last season against Liverpool, the first game of the season, our defence was all over the place because we just wasn't ready. So I know we've still got a couple of weeks before the start of the season, and we've got the Charity Shield coming up. But I honestly don't see our strongest back 3 playing together yet. I mean, I'm scared against Leicester. Because I don't know who the back 3 is going to be. It's probably going to be Mertesacker. It's probably going to be Rob Holding and Monreal because Koscielny's suspended. I don't know if Mustafi's ready yet. Chambers, I thought, was probably one of our best defenders in the Emirates Cup, and I don't know what's happening there. So it's really worrying for me, is the defensive side. So I think Wenger's missed a trick here, where he should have maybe signed another centre back during this window. I mean, you've got Virgil van Dijk over at Southampton, who's on the transfer list, who obviously wants to leave. Why not go and buy him? He's proven in the Premier League. He's a quality centre back, and I think we're probably one addition short of being strong at the back. And I'm really worried that a couple of injuries you start seeing players filling in at centre back again. I think we're short on midfield. Obviously, you've got Santi Cazorla who's injured. You've got Jack Wilshere coming back, and it's really good to see the pictures of Jack Wilshere back in training, because I love Jack Wilshere enough. He's an Arsenal lad, and he knows what it means to the fans. And that's one player I really want to see staying at the club and given a chance. And God, I hope his injuries can clear up, because I think he's an Arsenal man, and I hope he gets a run in the team this year. But I honestly believe we're still probably one defensive midfield player short. And again, Lacazette is a decent signing. I see a few people already writing him off on Twitter. Which is, the thing is with Lacazette is he's going to get chances, he's going to score goals. We've seen over the years, and we've all seen it, we create numerous chances in the game. We just need that poacher to come along and score. I don't think you're going to see Lacazette involved in a lot of the game outside the box. He's not going to be, that type of player. I think he's just going to get his chances in the box. He's going to be there, and he's going to be scoring his goals, getting his tap-ins. But that's what we've been crying out for the last 10 years. I think he just needs a chance. I would ideally like to see Lacazette playing in a 4-4-2 with Giroud up front, because I don't know if the system we play is going to suit Lacazette, if I'm being brutally honest. So, like you, Craig, I am a little bit concerned. I don't think that the squad that we've got at the moment is going to be capable of winning the league. I think it's going to be quite a frustrating season if we stick with the two players that we've got at the moment. Hopefully, I'm just watching Sky Sports News now. There's talk about Lamar. There's talk about this Sari, I think his name is. There is some suggestion that we haven't yet finished in the transfer window. I think that we'll probably look into offload a few players before we bring any more in. I think there's potentially going to be a lot more movement out than in between now and the start of the season. But I'm a little bit concerned. Yeah.
I'd have to agree with you there, mate. I'd say the outs are what's. I'd say the outs are what's stopping the coming ins. But as I was saying to my buddy today, of course we get these reports that they don't want to leave. Of course they don't want to leave, because they're on so much money.
They're on mega wages, and we've seen with Debussy and Gibbs. These are players that have hardly featured over the last couple of years, but they're quite prepared to stay and get their wages. And we saw that with Yaya Sanogo. With all due respect, he stayed until his contract run down, because he was on a great salary, and he was quite content to sit on the bench. And so why would a player leave and take a pay cut when they're at a club like Arsenal getting 50, 60 grand a week?
Exactly.
So it's just the mentality of modern day football players now. I mean, when I used to play football, and I'm sure Lee and yourself were the same, I would hate to be on the bench. I would hate to miss a game, and it used to make me physically sick watching my teammates play. But the football players' mentality now, we've seen over the years with players like Cudicini, with all due respect, when he was at Chelsea, and Winston Bogarde when he was at Chelsea. These players are quite happy to sit on the bench and get a fat salary. It's happened over at Arsenal over the years. We've seen it with Johan Giroud over the years. He was on a massive salary. Nicholas Bentner was on a massive salary, and unfortunately, you just have to wait until these players run down their contracts and leave. Unfortunately, at Arsenal, the wrong players are running down their contracts. We've seen with Alexis Sanchez, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Ozil. Towards the end of the last season, when the season ended, there was 4 contracts that were needed to be sorted out pronto. It was Wenger's contract, it was Alexis, Oxlade, and Ozil. We're going into the start of the season. We're 2 weeks away, and only Wenger's contract has been addressed. Now, the uncertainty that these 3 players going into the start of the season and their contracts have still not been resolved, I can't see how that's going to, bring harmony to the dressing room, with the uncertainty if these players are actually going to give 100%, or if they're not going to be there, for another 6 months or so. So I think we're going into the start of the season, we're surrounded by negativity because the contract situation hasn't been sorted as well.
Yeah, absolutely, Lee. Last season there was protests. Obviously you know all too well. Wenger out protests. It got very toxic at football matches. Arsenal fans fighting with Arsenal fans, etc., etc. You would have thought that the club would have looked at that and said, you know, we can't have this happen again. We've got to do something about it. Now, like I said last week, Wenger is the manager of Arsenal Football Club for another 2 years. That's fine. That's fine. I'm going to stomach it. Okay? We can't do nothing. We tried. We failed. But now we find ourselves 2 weeks away from the start of another Premier League season. Groundhog Day is upon us. And it just seems that no one cares, mate. No one cares about the supporters.
The trouble is, I think it's now time the fans, and that includes me included, is to wake up and smell the coffee of this football club. It's an absolute shambles from the top to the bottom. And I can tell you why. Like, I've had people. This is the crap that I get from people at the minute. We're getting to the top four. Why are we going to get in the top four then? Because Spurs are playing at Wembley. I could fucking throttle someone by the head when they say that. Not about what we're going to do or whatever. It's what other teams' failures are going to do is going to let us go into the top four. Well, I can guarantee you that now Spurs will not fail at Wembley and will be higher than us at the end of the season with the shambolic defending and squad that we've got at the moment. Where are we going to... The best we can hope for at the moment is 6. Because I can tell you that the team below us last season, Manchester United, because they've got a manager that knows if he doesn't do the business, Craig, he's out. And he's going to... And that is the fact the matter is. So what he's come out and said, he goes, oh, and he's come out, I'm not happy. I want this player, and this player. And the reason he said that, because he's put pressure on that board to get those players in. Now, I don't expect us to be competing with Manchester City. I don't expect us to be competing with Chelsea because they're on a different... But I do expect us to be competing with Manchester United at some sort of level. They've spent 90 million on a forward, which they're desperate to get. They've bought a midfield player. They've bought a central defender. All of a sudden, Manchester United have got a spine that's cost them getting into the Champions League and cost them winning the title for about 3 years. It's been rectified. At Arsenal, we continue to have no spine. It's never addressed, and that is it. Now, I'm going to tell you something about Arsene Wenger. He has signed a contract for himself. His bank balance has gone up tenfold. Two more years, £10 million, right, that he's got. And what has he done differently to last season? Nothing. I'll tell you another thing that he's not. I'll tell you another thing, which is a great point that someone said to me the other day. What in the football, in our club, do we compete with everybody else? I'll tell you 2 things. We're the biggest spenders of fans. We spend the most money going into the ground, okay? And the second thing is our manager competes on a level with every other top manager in this Premier League. But we don't compete in any other department, i.e. transfers, players, wages, anything else we do compete with apart from the manager. The manager's on the top money that he can get. He's on the best sort of contract he can get. And that's funny how he can get everything that he wants and the club don't get the players getting their sort of side of things and all that. And I'm sick of it now. I'm sick of it. £40 million we've spent, Craig, this summer. £40 million. There's idiots, and I'm going to call you idiots because that's what it is, saying when we go into the Europa League, you watch. We won't get into the Champions League. Watch us spend. We ain't spent. We got into 5th in the league last season. These were shambles of a job, which from start to finish, right? And all of a sudden, we've spent 40 million on Lacazette, and that causes that sorts out of all of our problems at Crystal Palace, West Brom, when we was weak defensively. He hasn't even addressed it, Craig. Hasn't addressed it as on a coaching side. He's not addressed it on a playing side, you know. And what I get is, it's only pre-season. It's all right. It's only pre-season. We've conceded 8 goals in pre-season, but it's only pre-season. We've still got so many weeks to the transfer market. Whatever. Let's get it straight. There's nothing to be addressed. Let's not forget about Crystal Palace away. It was so bad, Craig, that the fans turned on the players.
Yeah.
So bad that they turned on the players. It was embarrassing. So bad at West Brom that I took my 16-year-old boy that game, and I'll tell you what, if he was 10, I'd never take him again because of all the fighting going on outside and all that, because of the shambolic defending. I remember those sort of games. 10 games unbeaten last season, going into the the end of last season. We played 11 games, whatever it was. We lost 1. That team was Tottenham, the only decent team that we really played in that run, that we couldn't, you know what I mean? And I'll tell you that now, Craig. I thank God we got out of there with a 2-1 defeat, because I can tell you that now, it should have been 6 or 7 if it weren't for Petr.
Let's not forget 2 non-league teams in there as well, Lou.
Yeah. So let's not kid ourselves in there. I'm angry now because I'll tell you that now. I believed that when Wenger signed this new 2-year contract, that things were going to change, and realistically, they haven't. Now, he is a selfish man for taking that job for another 2 years. Why has he took it? Because I can tell you that now, we ain't winning the league. Going nowhere near it. No. Nowhere near it. Manchester City have won this league in July and August, because they were weak last season. I went to the semi-final and said, I'll tell you what, we can beat Man City because we can get out their fullbacks. We ain't going to be able to get out their fullbacks this year. I'll tell you that now, because they're too top. You know, they spent 150 million, Craig, on 3 fullbacks. We've spent 40 million on what? On a forward. You know, and I can tell you that. Who's been our best forward in pre-season? I'll tell you who our best forward's been. Giroud.
That's good,
probably our best forward. Right, and there's talk about getting rid of him. You know,
he looks sharp.
He looks sharp. You know what I mean? So maybe by buying Lacazette, it's going to kick him up the Jacksy. I don't know. But let's go on to another thing just before I've had enough of it. I can't watch that Sky Sports no more without like feeling like I'm going to put my fucking foot through the telly at some stage. You know what I mean? Because, you know, Lamar, right?
It's dragging on, isn't it?
It's dragging on and on and on. Monaco are saying you ain't getting him for 60 million. Do you think they want to sell him on the cheap, Craig? They don't need to sell him on the cheap, right? So you've got to go in there and say, right, there's the 60 million. We're not prepared to do that, but we're prepared to let 150 million pounds worth of talent go down to Swanee in May of next year, or even January of next year, because don't forget, Ozil, if they don't sign these contracts, Ozil, Chamberlain, not so much Chamberlain, but they can all go and talk to teams abroad in January. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and are we dumb enough? Are people dumb enough to believe that there's a 50-50 ball for Sanchez to go in there, chance of breaking his leg? He's going to do that this season. Like risk his career. Look at I'll tell you what, Ibrahimovic, you know what I mean? Like, last month of his contract, month and a half of his contract, what's he do? Go up for an header, does his cruciate ligament. Where is he now? Man United don't give him a contract. So you don't think that if Sanchez does his cruciate in like next season, we're going to give him another? Well, Arsenal probably would give him another.
Probably will give him one, yeah.
But what I'm saying is that they're ruthless, these people. We're not ruthless enough. You know what I mean? Like, we're not ruthless enough, and it's now bordering on frustration. You know what I mean? Like, we ain't getting whose fault is it we can't get players out? Whose fault is that? Is it, you know what I mean? Because they're on so much money?
Of course.
You know what I mean? There's so many things wrong about this football club. There's so many things wrong. I'm going to go there one day, and I swear I'm going to see the goalpost ran the wrong way because some clowns put them in wrong. Because everything they do at this football club's wrong. Everything. It's all about, now, it's a money-making machine, Craig. That's what it is. And we've got to realise that. I watched it on Sunday. It's a money-making machine, you know. But another point.
This is what we've been saying for the last 2 years, isn't it? Why is it then that people like us three and people like, people we see on Arsenal Fan TV, people we see with a big presence on social media, how comes we can all see that Arsenal is a money-making machine, that Arsenal has lost its traditions? Arsenal, we've changed the badge. We changed our stadium.
3 kits a season now.
Yeah, 3 kits. The traditions are gone. Why is it then like fans like us can see that? We can see the bigger picture. What do we then say to the fans that tweet us, you know, oh, we're disrespecting this fella and we're disrespecting that fella and we're not real Arsenal fans and all this business?
I'm not a real Arsenal fan no more. I'm not an Arsenal fan no more. This Arsenal, what is now, is not the Arsenal I fell in love with. It's got nothing to do. We've got an owner that's, you know, that don't even care about the club, if I'll be honest. And realistically, after what he's doing now, you know what I mean, it's a disgrace to this football club. You know what I mean? When I go back to the olden days, it was the old collar and tie, Mr. Illwood and all that. Like that's what I fell in love with Arsenal. You know what I mean? Like it's not that no more. Arsene Wenger is a man that I you know what I mean. I say it again. Me and my dad, when he was on the telly, used to stand up and demand that everybody be quiet when he was on there. Like I turn him off now, you know what I mean? Because he's gone to the other side. He's like Darth Vader of football. He's just gone onto the dark side of crap. You know what I mean? Like he's gone onto the money side of football, and he's happy to stay there. Because I'm honestly, Craig, I'm watching him on. If he cannot see that we've got defensive deficiencies in our side, then what the hell is he doing there? Because he's got to be sorted out. You know, I've had people turn around and say, Jens Lehmann's going to come in and turn it all around. Jens Lehmann, he ain't going to let everybody do all this. What was Steve Bold when he played? Is he a Strinking Violet then? No, he wasn't.
Good point.
He wasn't.
True.
Steve Bold. Steve Bold wouldn't want to play against Steve Bold. I'd rather play against Steve Bold than Jens. I tell you what, I'd rather have a fight with Jens Lehmann than I would Steve Bold. I'll tell you that now. All right, I'll tell you that now. Right? You know what I mean? Like we always beat the Germans anyway. Like, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you know.
Sorry to the German people that might.
Yeah, sorry, Per.
Lee, can I say something? Right. I mean, you made a really good point about the spine of the team that Man United and what Mourinho has signed, and you're right. But over the last 2 years, mate, we've spent £100 million on the spine of a team. We've signed Mustafi, we've signed Granit Xhaka, and now we've signed Lacazette. So that's 3 players down the middle of the team, which have cost £100 million. So I think Wenger has tried to address some of the problems. I don't know if the players that he's brought in are the right players or not.
Memz, that's a great point. Then, right? And I'll say this then to you then. Sol Campbell, Patrick Vieira, Thierry Henry. Is it anywhere near that?
Absolutely not.
What did that do? And what did you know what I mean? That's the difference. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that Man United have got that, but that is the difference. Tony Adams before that, you know what I mean? Like, you know, Ian Wright. We had a spine of players. You know, listen, we've not replaced Patrick Vieira. We've not got near placing Patrick Vieira. Like, you know what I mean? Now, I watched a player on Sunday in Zombie. Like, you know, it wouldn't cost a lot of money, but we're crying out for someone to just sit in the back four and boss things.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But we haven't got that. I watched Mesut Ozil, this world-class player, being brushed aside by him. You know what I mean? Like every time Aaron Ramsey tried to go past him, bumped him off. You know, we don't do things like that. We're just too easy. Look, any decent team comes to us next season will beat us. And I mean that sincerely. We won't beat Manchester United. We won't beat Manchester City. We won't beat Chelsea. And we won't beat Spurs at home. We have not beaten Spurs for 3 years.
Yeah,
3 years.
Can't remember the last time we actually beat them.
Come on, remember, you know what I mean? We've not done it. This is a team with half the funds that we've got. You know, we've let people like, you know, Arsene Wenger, Wanyama's not quite good enough football-wise for us. We're crying out for someone like him, horrible bastard in midfield. You know what I mean? Like, you know, there's things. Mustafi, honestly, let's do away with him. He's not what we want. I'll do away with him, get him out of the club and get Van Dijk in there. We need players that are gonna come in and be solid defenders. You know?
So another point I was going to raise with you as well is that the spine of the players that we have bought, what we mentioned, the Mustafis, the Xhakas, the Lacazettes, we've bought them and they've all been risk signings. They've never been proven in the Premier League.
No.
Where, like you've just said, Van Dijk, he's proven. You know what you're going to get. It's the same with Kante. You knew that he was proven in the Premier League. He was a Premier League winner. But yet we went out and spent the same amount of money on Xhaka.
I think Xhaka will turn it around this season. I honestly do believe
I was just about to say.
I hope so.
Yeah, I was just about to say that I think we could be being a bit too, well, in my opinion, being a bit harsh on Mustafi and Xhaka. I've said to a lot of people this year, and I've even said it to you, Lee, couple of weeks ago, I'm pretty sure I said it to you, that this year will be the year that if they're going to come good, they will.
Yeah. Well, so we'll give them another year, right? So that's another year wasted then.
True. Very true.
This is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like we're spending all this money. We spent, listen, we spent 90 million last season. Perez hardly played. You know what I mean? Yeah. What was all that about? You know what I mean? That's a shambolic of a signing, that is.
We're prepared now to let him go for less money than what we paid for him.
Yeah, so what's the point of that? You know what I mean? So we're going to lose 10 million we need for Lamar. You know what I mean? Like, there's people in this club, Craig, that should be sacked.
Yeah, I agree.
They should be sacked. And the first one that should have been sacked, is, in my opinion now, is Arsene Wenger. What the hell is he doing now is beyond me now. I'm really sorry. I've lost all respect for him. As far as I'm concerned, if he was going to sign this new 2-year contract, he should have done exactly what Mourinho said. I'll sign this 2-year contract, but I want this player, I want that player, and I want him. And give yourself a chance of winning the league. Well, I honestly believe if we went and bought Van Dijk and we went and bought, is it Serie or somebody? I don't know this Serie from Adam, so I can't say that. So I'm going to say Inzaghi because he's Premier proven. We will come close to doing well in the league.
Yeah.
There's 2 players that's going to cost us 67 million, maybe a bit more, right? Plus Lamar, right? And then we've got a real good chance of winning the league. You know what I mean? But it's going to cost us 70, 80 million, But Manchester United have gone and spent 169 million so far. Because do you know what? Do you know why they've done that? Not to sell shirts, not to do that, because they want to win the league. Whether they will or not is a different thing. But I'm at the stage now that Arsenal and Arsene Wenger have got no intentions of winning the league. They've got no intentions of it, because if they did, they'd be spending the money as best they can. And what it seems to me is, Craig and Memz, is that they're perhaps all the money coming in, chucking it in. And come to the end of the season, when you weigh it all up, I don't suppose, considering all the TV money you get, I bet they don't spend more than £50 million. The whole in. Once they've sold all their players. Net. I bet it's no more than 50 million. 50 million now gets you an average player.
Of course it does, yeah. Look at what Everton are spending.
Well, Everton, they're going to go above us this season, Everton. You know what I mean? They've done some great business. But in saying that of Everton, everybody goes on about how they spend. They have got 90 million for Lukaku. You know what I mean? But they're spending that. You know what I mean? 20 million for Chambers. Well, all right, sell Chambers for 20 million, right? This is another big thing for me. Sell him for 20 million. Mertesacker goes next year. Who are you going to get?
Yeah. You're going to spend 40 million on a centre back there. So you might as well go and get Van Dijk now. He's available. So
exactly. So why are they not doing it? Why are they not doing it? Why has this man got his head buried in the sand all the time? I'm no expert. You know what I mean? Like, but I could do a better job than half these people in here, because I know what I'm talking about here. Like, you know what I mean? Because I've seen it week in, week out. I watch games. I ain't stupid at. Defensively, we're weak. I guarantee you now, we're sitting here now, right? And I'm going to say, right, we'll do shows. If we do 50 shows next year, right, I'll guarantee you on at least 10 of them, we say, what about that goal? What's that weak defending? How poor was that defending? 10 times.
But you know what, Lee? He's changed the formation, isn't he? He's gone 3 at the back towards the end of last season. You know, I thought he'd done that to make us defensively stronger. But personally, I think since we've gone 3 at the back, we've looked more defensively weak, if I'm being honest. So I think
I don't know about that. I don't know. I'm going to play a bit of devil's advocate there. I think with the wing backs and the 3 centre backs, we look a bit better. I've got to say, a bit more solid. Yeah, I've got to say.
Right, Craig, I've got to bring this in. I've got to bring this in because it drove me nuts on Sunday. Right, Koscielny was up against 1 against 3 at one stage. It was Koscielny chasing back, right, and he dived in with attack, got it across, and about 8 people around me jumps up. Wow, great defending! He shouldn't even be in that position.
Yeah.
He should have pulled people back and say, why am I up against 3 players? And there should be somebody saying, well, how comes he's going 3 against 1? You know what I mean? Everybody's going, it's great defending from... No, it's not great defending. It's desperate defending. But people don't realise that. I think, you know what I mean? It's such a bigger picture. There's not... You've got a new backs free system, and you've got Maitland Miles and El Nini playing in it at the moment, that I can tell you this now, not in one Premier League game will they be playing in that position.
Yeah, I hope not.
Well, yeah, you hope.
Do you know what, lads? But Lee, what I don't understand, mate, is that we've signed one of the best left backs in Germany.
Looks very good.
Where's he going to play?
That's a great call. Right.
Where's he going to play for us? He's been playing centre defence in some pre-seasons. He's been playing left wing back for us, which is not positions which he played for Schalke. What I don't understand is that we've got Hector Bellerin, who's a very good right back, in my opinion. We've got now this German lad, the lad from Germany. They're natural fullbacks. We've got natural defenders. I can remember Arsenal being the most solid when we played the traditional 4-4-2. You know, it's the famous back four. Why did we ever go away from that, which was working for us? Okay, let's give Wenger some credit. He tried the 3 at the back. But for me personally, I think we are much more solid when we play the traditional 4 at the back with your holding centre midfield player. And for me as well, you've got your natural wingers. They can support the strikers. And we was at our best when we played in that way. I think we've got the players within the squad to play that system. But now it's almost like square pegs and round holes, and it's trying to get players to fill into systems, and it's not quite working for me. And Craig, I don't think, mate, I mean, that since we've gone through at the back, I think we've been quite lucky that we've had a lot of games where the goalkeepers had particularly good games, or anything. I think we're going to be
chances.
Yeah, we're going to get an absolute tonking if we keep on defending the way we've been defending.
Well, that is true. That is true. We are going to get an absolute tonking, and I fear
also is the holding midfield players key to that back 3. By the way, someone protecting him from the front as well. You know what I mean?
Well, we certainly missed Xhaka Sunday.
Yeah,
we certainly did.
The young lad that played in midfield, I think, you know, he wasn't up to standard. Bless him, you know. He was like a fish out of water. But even
what about
with
this?
Francis Cookham.
While we're just talking about the squad at the Emirates Cup, what about this? Just changing the subject completely before we come back onto it.
Sure.
What are we saying about this young kid? Is it Reece Nelson?
Reece Nelson. What a player he was.
I mean, this boy to me looks like he could go into the first team now.
Yeah, but my argument to that is where is he going to play in place of Bellerin?
Right wing back.
Play in place of Chamberlain. You know, and if we sell Bellerin, everybody's going to be up in arms about it. But I've got to say, he was I'm very, very impressed with him. I have to say that, you know. So
do you know what? I agree with you. I mean, do you know, with me, sometimes I've seen a player for the first time and immediately you can tell that this player's mustard. I remember when Nicolas Anelka burst onto the scenes, and I thought, you know what, this player, it's
exciting, isn't he?
Pure class.
Excited,
But I'm not getting too carried away, because I think it was 2 years ago at the Emirates Cup we saw Jeff Adelaide, and he excited me, and since then we haven't seen him. So I think at Arsenal we tend to get very excited about young players and hope and paint them up to be the next best big thing. I remember when Fran Merida broke onto the team. You know,
the next Fabregas,
yeah, exactly. And then these players just disappeared. I mean, I remember Arturo Lupoli scoring in the Emirates Cup, and everyone thought he was going to be the next big thing. So I'm very reluctant to get my hopes up about young players, but I do agree that Reece Nelson looks an absolute top player. But like Lee said, I can't see him breaking the team. The only thing I would say is that the UEFA Cup this year might give Arsene Wenger the opportunity to start blooding in some players. I mean, you see Spurs when they're in the UEFA Cup, this is the platform that which Harry Kane started performing. So I honestly believe that the UEFA Cup this year could be a really, really interesting season for us if Arsene Wenger mix and matches the experience and a couple of the youth players. And I think players like Reece Nelson, I think there's some really exciting youngsters coming in through the Arsenal team. So, yeah, it could be a good opportunity for them.
Okay, well, halfway through. Thanks for everyone for watching and joining us live. Really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. And give us a follow on Twitter at the same old AFC. Same old AFC. There won't be no questions this evening, lads, for two reasons. One, the next topic, I think, will go on for a while. And two, my battery's just died on my phone, so I can't read any of them. So sorry about that. But I'll tell you what, if you want to ask a question, tweet the judge at Lee Mark Judges. If you've got a question for us, tweet Lee.
Far away.
And we can get Lee to ask some questions. So if you've got a question for us, just tweet Lee at Lee Mark Judges. Or if you follow Memz on Twitter, you can give old Memz a tweet as well.
Yeah, don't give me no abuse, will you?
Yeah, no abuse though, please. Yeah, no abuse. Poor old boy. So I think we're all agreed. We're all concerned about the start of the season. And we can all agree. It is, yeah.
It's frustration, it is.
Yeah. It's Groundhog Day, isn't it? I feel like a complete idiot because I really believed that things were going to be different. But how stupid do you feel now? Me, I feel very stupid. You know, people were telling me, even people who support other teams, you know, oh, don't be stupid, Craig. What are you talking about? It'll be the same old thing for you boys. They all talk a good game while the transfer window's open, and then you end up with nothing. Oh, no, it's different. We've already bought Lacazette. Don't worry, there's more on the way. You know, make myself look a right old clown, but there you go. Obviously, the subject that has been hot the last 2 days is that our gallant, gracious owner, Mr. Stan Kroenke, has funded a channel of which people go out and shoot elephants and tigers and lions and things like this. Deer, I would imagine. You know, basically a fellow with a gun showing you where to shoot, you know, the best place to shoot a certain animal to kill it stone dead. My argument really is not with... My argument really, in my opinion, is not with the channel. Don't get me wrong. No one should be going out and shooting animals. But it happens. It's just a fact of life, right? It happens. My other problem is people telling me that it's got nothing to do with Arsenal. Let me tell you this. It has got everything to do with Arsenal. There is things appearing on Twitter, on Facebook, on different websites. People are mocking up the cannon. I don't know if any of you two have seen the picture of the cannon upturned and shooting the puma. Yeah. People are mocking. People are doing mock images of cannons shooting lions, you know, and stuff like this. So please don't tell me that this has got anything. This has got nothing to do with Arsenal, because it's got everything to do with Arsenal. The name of the club is being dragged through the mud and through the dirt over this. What I was going on to is there is a petition that's been put up by, I believe, Jups on Twitter. It's up to nearly 60,000 signatures now. That's a full Emirates Stadium. Okay, 60,000. If you've come across this petition, please sign it and please share it. After the pod, I will put it up. And if you haven't signed it, sign it. It's important. Memz, seems now that the Arsenal fans, this is the straw that broke the camel's back with Stan Kroenke. Yeah. 60,000 people signed a petition that they want him to go. Mm-hmm. Will it make any difference, Memz? And what's your personal feelings towards this?
Right. Okay.
This channel.
I've never been Stan Kroenke's biggest fan. Anyway, I was actively involved in protesting before this channel came out. Anyway, I think that this man has got into Arsenal Football Club with the total wrong intentions. He actively came out and said that he didn't buy Arsenal Football Club to win trophies. He's never invested any money into the club. He sat back and he watched other clubs cherry pick our best players, and he could have invested at the time we most needed him. He didn't. I've got no love for that man whatsoever. What he has now done, and you've rightly said, Craig, is tarnished the name of our great football club. because it doesn't matter if you're a football fan or not. I've got people on social media who don't even like football, but yet when they pick up the newspapers and when they hear on the radio, it's the Arsenal owner or the Arsenal chairman or the Arsenal major shareholder has purchased this channel, this channel like you rightly described, which is designed for killing wild or in some cases endangered animals and glorifying that. And I think what that man has done to the brand and to our name is damage which is going to take a long time to heal. And I don't know if it can be healed, because I think the damage is already done. I think what that man has done now has put Arsenal back 10 years in terms of the potential, in terms of finance, in terms of potential sponsorships and etc. The damage what he's done is massive.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that there's a lot of clubs out there that will touch Arsenal with a barge pole, because the damage is that bad. But the fact that we are now sort of associated with this channel is terrible. And I've seen Arsenal fans, celebrity Arsenal fans, I've seen Jeremy Corbyn has come out and tweeted something saying he's embarrassed of Arsenal. I've seen other celebrity fans come out and show their distaste for it as well. I've seen loads of people on Twitter saying how embarrassed they are to be associated with Arsenal. I love this football club, and I bleed red and white. But for the first time in many years, I've actually felt quite embarrassed of Arsenal Football Club, and I honestly believe that Arsenal fans should now, whether you're Wenger in or Wenger out, whether you've got any personal agendas.
Yeah, this ain't got nothing to do with Arsenal.
No,
nothing.
Absolutely not. I believe that if Arsenal fans all came together. Because I can't see really any Arsenal fans out there, genuine Arsenal fans that are defending Stan Kroenke. I think that the momentum now so much at Arsenal is to get this parasite out of our football club. I believe if Arsenal fans were to come together and make life so difficult for Stan Kroenke, whether it was financially, whether it was with campaigns and protests, he would have no alternative but to sell. And we've got a man in Elisha Usmanov who does want to buy the club. And he's standing by, he's got the resources to buy it. But I think if the fans made it so difficult for Stan Kroenke, he would have to go. He's not wanted at Arsenal. No one sees the benefit he brings. And all he's doing is embarrassing the club and dragging our great name down through the mud. And I'm absolutely appalled by what he has done. And I pray that I wake up one day and I read on Sky Sports News that he sold his shares, because I can't wait for him to go.
I think what's important is that if there is to be protests about Stan Kroenke, then so be it. But I think it's very important that anyone who starts up these protests, they have to pick the right moments. Match days is not the right moments. There's so much more we can do now with the way social media is, to do it silently, like what's happening with this signature thing. Yeah, I think this year now we need to stop this is another reason why I'm so pissed off with the Arsene Wenger thing quietening down. Right, he signed his contract. It's done. It's gone very quiet on the Arsene Wenger thing. Okay, it's gone very quiet on, oh, you're an AKB, oh, you're a wob, all this yada yada. But now it's shooting up again between the fans because of Stan Kroenke now. I mean, what's it going to be next year? Do you know? It's just pissed me off so much that 2 weeks before the season starts again, this is going to happen.
Yeah, a bit of negativity sneaking in already.
Exactly. Up until yesterday, it was all right, but now people are starting to share their opinion on this Stan Kroenke thing. The fucking shit. Sorry now to swear, but the shit's hitting the fan again.
Have you seen many fans come out and actually defend him, Craig?
I haven't seen one, mate. I haven't seen one. I haven't. And I think, Memz, we can safely say that if anyone is, they must be quite like Stan Kroenke or a troll. That's what I'd say. I can't see how anyone, even though what I said about the channel, it's not the channel.
See,
and things like that happen, right? I don't believe it's right, but it happens.
So, Craig,
there's nothing I can do about it.
I was having a debate yesterday on Twitter, and a lot of people said, well, so what? What the fuck's got, excuse me language, but what's that got to do with Arsenal? You know, it's got nothing to do with Arsenal. He's a businessman. He can invest his money in God knows what. This is not an Arsenal matter. And a lot of people were sort of basically saying that Stan Kroenke, what he does in his other business is got nothing to do with us. We are not involved in this channel. It's not Arsenal. But what I would say to that is that it is something to do with Arsenal because he is the Arsenal owner. Yeah. And the fact that when you hear Stan Kroenke's name, you associate that with Arsenal Football Club. You know, it's all very well. You can be
if the owner of Greg's went and invested into a channel where they kill animals, what's going to happen? Everyone's going to protest against Greg's. Of course.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's the same thing.
And it's the same principle where, say, for example, the CEO of a company went and did something in his private life, and he was caught in bed with a prostitute or whatever, and that can't come out in the media. The company won't turn around and say, "Oh, it's within his private life. He can do what he wants." The fact that he's potentially going to tarnish the company's brand and image is the fact that he's done damage. So it's exactly the same principle with Stan Kroenke.
Absolutely.
So,
Lee, what's your feelings on this? What's the feeling? It's a bit weird, isn't it? It's a bit weird. It's come at a very wrong time.
Can I be a little bit controversial and say,
yes, you can.
First of all, let's get this right. I'm an animal lover and everything like that, but and this goes on as Memz has said, but I'm glad that he's come out and said about he's got this channel coming out because it gives us more fuel to get him out. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. It does go on. It's like, I don't know, even when I was a kid, when you used to watch like the ball fighting in sport, I always used to want the ball to get it on. Do you know what I mean? So, if the old gunman's out there in Africa with a lion or something, and he's, I'd love it if the gun don't go off and the old lion eats him up, you know what I mean? But so from that point of view, I'm dead against it all and everything like that. I've never been, the argument on fox hunting and things like that, people can debate that. I don't understand enough about that, but from an animal lover point of view, I don't like to see things like that, But he's come out and done this now, and it's just more fuel and more ammunition for us to get this man out of our club. That's how I look at it.
Good point.
And this is a great time now to the thing is no one's going to, on that ball sale, you've got this hunting channel now, you've got to leave Arsenal Football Club. No one's going to do that. But what it can do is, I would love to see, say, like, the Emirates or whoever pull out, say that they don't want to have nothing to do with it no more, because there are a lot of companies and all that are very anti this as well, you know what I mean? So, and don't want to be associated with that, as you say, I certainly if I wouldn't want to be associated with somebody that's, killing animals for fun and things like that. And if I was investing in that, I'd want to pull out of it, So it's a great opportunity for everybody now to really try and do the job and get him out for, other means as well. You know what I mean? Use it as a tool. I know it's not a very nice way to do it, but it is. We could use this to our advantage now and get this, man out, get our Russian friend in. And but in saying that, he's probably got a few skeletons in the closet as well. Yes. You know what I mean?
Well, so there's a few.
I mean, so you might. It's a difficult one, isn't it?
People were saying to me today, why don't Chelsea fans care about Abramovich? Abramovich has done some naughty things in his life. Apparently, this Manchester City fella has done a few.
They're all allegations. They're all allegations. There's nothing actually proven about that. So.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Yeah.
The other side of it is also then, so if Arsenal were winning the league every year and Kroenke was putting in millions and millions of pounds, would the Arsenal fans be so up in arms about it then?
Probably not. Very true.
You know,
Very
So
true.
Craig, let me ask you something. So, for example, you was the CEO of a multi-million-pound business and you wanted to invest in a football club. Why would you pick Arsenal with the negative press that's currently ongoing, that we haven't got Champions League football? Why would you be sort of coming towards Arsenal for investment? Because we ain't got the biggest stadium in London anymore. We can't give Champions League football. You can go to West Ham, you can go to Spurs and invest there. Why would you risk the negativity of being associated with a football club which has got all this? We've got all this.
Well, I wouldn't, Memz.
It's dark cloud.
Yeah,
it's a terrific point, Mem. So then why is everybody slagging off Sanchez for not signing a contract? Because that's the same sort of thing, is it, being associated with the club. At this moment in time, you know, as I say, I think everything Arsenal, right, are being laughed about by everybody at the moment. You know, they were saying, I had to turn it off on Talk Sport the other day. They said, what's they were talking about who's going to be winning the Premiership, and they went, oh, and what about Arsenal's chances? I can't think who it was now. Just they've got no chance. Next team. You know, that is embarrassing.
It's the reality, though, mate. Isn't it?
It's everything about Arsenal at the minute. Is, you know, from the owner to the fans. If we're be honest, we're all at each other's throats all the time. You know what I mean? Like, it ain't like that with any other team. We've got a manager that is ridiculed. He is ridiculed by everybody else. Other, you know, if the truth be known, managers ridicule him. You know, everything about the club. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I went into Nighttown the other day, and as I walked, I can't go in there no more. It's got a great big badge of Tottenham up there and a great big badge of Chelsea, and people laugh and go, "Oh, we've got Nike now. You've got that cheap Puma stuff." You know what I mean? It's just all little things that just keep bashing us at the moment, like, you know, and it's not the club that it was, Craig. It really isn't. You know what I mean? Where's all the traditions of it all gone?
I know. We've said it before, mate. We've said it before. Why?
And why would you want to? You know, why would you want to? The only reason that, you know, let's be honest with Uzunov, the only reason that he would ever buy Arsenal is because of the love of it. From a business sense or whatever, probably, you know, it's not worth what the billions that they're talking about. But, you know, like, if I had his money, I would be in the same position. I would love to buy Arsenal, you know what I mean, because I love it. You know what I mean? And that's it. It's a sentimental thing, isn't it? But things have got to change. Things have got to change at Arsenal dramatically over the next.
Lads, we're rambling.
So the thing is, can I touch on one more thing as well?
Of course you can.
I think there's probably a lot of, I hate to say this, but Arsene Wenger loyalists out there who are probably being very quiet about this whole Stan Kroenke situation, because they know that Stan Kroenke is not going to fire Arsene Wenger. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Stan Kroenke is an Arsene Wenger man, and Arsene Wenger is a Stan Kroenke man. So
I think Uzunov has made it quite clear, though, that he believes that Arsene Wenger is still the man for Arsenal. So even if Uzunov did come in,
he would have to say that, Craig. Honestly, if he was to turn around and say before he bought the club that he questioned Arsene Wenger, and if he was to take over, he would get him out. I think there'll be some hostility to allowing him to take over. So I think he would say that. But I certainly believe that Mr. Uzunov would probably give. I think Uzunov would probably give Wenger 1 year or 2 years to prove himself. Well, if he didn't, then he would be ruthless and have him out.
And I'd be happy with that. I'd like to see what Wenger would be like
under pressure,
under him.
Now, lads, have you got any questions?
Yeah, I've got a good question coming from Danny. It's a good one from Danny. Hold on a sec. He's just turned around and said, "How long do you think it will be?" Let's just get it up. Hold on a sec. How long will you think it will be? It's Danny Cookie. This is from. How long, guys, do you think it will be before Arsenal go back to a back four after the Leicester game? There you go.
Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't be, even though personally I like the three at the back, I wouldn't be surprised if it is Leicester. Before we kick off, he goes back to a four.
I don't think he'd go the whole season with a back three. There, I'll say that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he lined up with a back four against Leicester. I wouldn't be surprised, genuinely.
I don't think he will. I think that with Arsene Wenger, once he's I mean, it took him 15 years to change formations, didn't it? So I think now, once he's put in his mind that this is the formation, this is the way I want to play, I think he's pretty stuck in his ways, and this is the way that he will continue to play. I think the only way he will change formation is if it goes so wrong, where it's just not working at all, and we're sitting mid-table. I don't think he will.
As the manager, he's got to look at the Leicester game, right? We haven't got the players to play that formation against Leicester.
Agreed.
Okay, so why doesn't he go back to the 4 for Leicester?
That's a good question.
Yeah, he's the manager. He's got to tactically do what's right.
But this has been my biggest criticism over Arsene Wenger over the last 10 years. It's not been his signings; it's been his in-game management. Yeah. I honestly believe that you should pick your team accordingly to who your opposition is. He doesn't do that. He consistently picks his team, regardless if it's Swansea away or Real Madrid at home. He will play the same way in the same formation. Yeah. And this is that's my major problem.
I would be much.
It doesn't do that.
I would be much happier to think that we'd be kicking off against Leicester with Krosniak left back, Monreal and Rob Holding in the middle, and Bellerin on the right. I'd be much happier with that.
Correct.
But what scares the life out of me is to think that it might be Holding,
Mertesacker
and Monreal. That scares.
I think
scares a living daylights out of it, doesn't it?
I honestly believe that the FA Cup final probably saved Mertesacker's career. It's probably given him another year or two because his performance was so good.
It was amazing.
Yeah, but it's also saved Arsene Wenger's probably Arsenal career as well, because we've won the FA Cup again, and there was all that uncertainty around it. But that FA Cup final could have been, it was great to win. Don't get me wrong, but I think that's going to.
Do you think the back three will be the back three that plays on Sunday will be the back three that plays against Leicester?
I would imagine so.
I hope not.
But then, Lee, I would hope that Wenger would see the weakness. That is,
we can all see it.
Yeah, except him. I mean, any football manager, surely, if we could, even if you're a manager of a youth team, if you've got two of your defenders out that you normally play with a back three with, surely you're going to change it up. And there's Arsene Wenger being this, this clever man. Why can't he see that? Yeah, all right, I might go back to a back four against Leicester.
So this is my point, Craig. I mean, if he was going to do that, why didn't he use pre-season to play that four at the back? So at least it gave the opportunity to play that.
That's a good point. It's because he's known. He's known all year. Well, not all year. He's known for the last 6 weeks that this is going to happen.
Don't get me wrong, boys. We could get a couple of inches come Sunday as well. So
we could. It's a tough one. I would just like to answer Dan's question. I would just like Arsene to do the right thing, Dan, to be honest. Whether it's three at the back, whether it's four at the back, whether it be three at the back against Leicester, four at the back against Leicester, and then in another game it's three at the back. I don't know.
Right, I've got another question here, which is a good one. From Cavan, he says, if we were to get Seri and Lamar, do you reckon we'd have enough to at least challenge for the title? Just those two players coming in.
No.
Yes, I do. I think we'd challenge, but we'd probably do the same old thing. We'd probably challenge up until about February, March, and then fall away probably. The young lad Seri comes in. I think there's some great talk about him, but again, how long is it going to take him to settle in? How long is it going to take Lamar to settle in? Can Lamar come in and do a job for us straight away? Is it going to take him 5, 6, 7 games to get used to his teammates, to get used to the way we play, to get used to the Premier League? Who knows? I don't know. It's just surely we should. These players should have been brought in weeks ago, mate. That's the bottom line. The bottom line is
we still need a centre back. We still need a centre back.
He's done it again. Arsene Wenger has done it again. He's left us short for the start of the season. It's not good enough. It really isn't good enough. It's left us short. There was no Arsenal fan out there. Well, I would hope that there's no self-righteous Arsenal fan out there that can tell me that we're ready for the league. Because we're not. We are miles away from being ready.
Fair point. Well, last another question quickly coming here. Where would you see if we signed Lamar? Where would you see him playing?
That's a great question. It's an absolutely brilliant question.
Well, he's not going to be playing right wing back, is he? That's for sure. You know,
he's playing in a totally different formation to where he's at Monaco than where he's potentially playing at Arsenal. So it's an unbelievable question. And you know, even when we signed Lacazette, you know, I thought to myself, you know, are we going to be playing with 4-4-2? I saw a couple of games with Lacazette. He wasn't even playing as a striker.
That's right.
He was playing as an attacking centre mid. So I don't know what goes through Arsene Wenger's mind, whether or not he's seen something in Lamar where he thinks maybe he can play in a centre as a long-term replacement of Santi Cazorla. Maybe he sees him as a left wing back. Honestly, I don't know. It's a great question. I wish I knew that.
I can't answer that, to be honest. You know.
Well, I'd have to go with Memz's idea, to be honest. It could, because it's the only logical. It's the only logical place he could play. You know, in that Santi Cazorla role. But then, what do you do with? What are you going to do with Ozil? You know, who's going to be the attacking? Who's going to be the attacking midfielder?
It's so many unanswered questions in our team at the moment. This is what I don't understand: is that, you know, who is going to be centre back pairing? The three at the back. Who's going to be a defensive centre mid? Who's going to be the attacking centre mid? You know, what is our partnerships here? You know, we've all seen over the years of Petit and Vieira. You know, Adams and Kieran, Adams and Bold, or you know, the partnerships Bergkamp, Henry. I don't see really that many partnerships in the team. It's a bit of a mismatch of everything.
I couldn't even sit here now and tell you who I think is going to be the starting 11 for Leicester.
Okay, let's say everyone's fit.
Let's say
everyone's fit. Let's say everyone's fit, Craig. Lee, everyone's fit. You start in 11 if everyone was fit.
What with the squad we got now?
Yeah.
Start 11. Check with game goal.
Check and goal, yeah.
Okay.
So Mustafi, Koscielny, Holding.
I'd play Monreal.
Well, I wouldn't. I'll go with Holding. He's good enough now.
Monreal, Koscielny, and Holding.
Okay, then you're going to be looking at
Monreal, Koscielny, and Holding. Yeah. So you want to play Mustafi?
Monreal plays very, very well on the left. Holding played very, very well on the right. Koscielny pays to cover both of them.
I like it. I like the logic.
Wow. Craig, sorry, Craig, just confirm your back.
My back three would have been Mustafi, Holding, and Koscielny.
Okay. Right wing back?
Chamberlain.
Ox, yeah.
Ox.
Kosniak.
Yeah.
Okay. This centre mids?
Xhaka.
Yeah, Xhaka. But who goes in there next to him? That's the thing.
Ramsey.
Wow.
Sorry, I'm coming back off that. If you said everyone's fit.
Yeah.
Wilshere.
Okay.
Cazorla.
Okay.
You can't have. They're not fit though, are they? You know.
No, but, I know. But
we're saying in an ideal world, if everyone's fit. Yeah. Okay.
Well, in an ideal world, because all have come in, but he ain't played for a year, and nor has Wilshere.
But he's fit.
Okay. Let's say he's fit.
What, fitting at the top of the game? You're going to say fitting at the top of the game, because you could go back to Mustafi then.
You're missing it. You're missing the point, mate. Missing the point. In an
ideal world.
You can't go down that route. Like, they're not. Even if they're fit, they're not going to be match. No, I'm not having that. Like,
all right, mate. Let's consider that some players are injured and some players are not.
Exactly.
Fit, mate.
My point is proven. We can't name. We can't name a first 11.
We can't. I mean, that's the thing. In our squad, we seem to have a mismatch, a balance where, you know, you've got an opinion, I've got an opinion, but there should be natural players where everyone would say, yeah, agree.
Yeah, but this is the difference between, like, say, a Tottenham at the moment than us. Name Tottenham's top side, it's like that. You know, Man City's you're going to know. You're all right with Arsenal's. You know, who would you play on the right-hand side You know,
mate. If you asked 100 people, I guarantee you'd have probably more than 50% different answers.
Yeah.
There is not one strongest 1 to 11 that we could all agree on and say this is our strongest team. Where back in the day, you can say Laurent right back, Cole left back.
Oh, it comes off.
You know, it will just roll off your tongue. Arsenal at the moment, it's a mishmash, and that is our problem.
Yes,
no one knows how strong.
Just proved it.
Yeah,
I like that word. That is very descriptive of Arsenal.
We've just proved it, haven't we?
Mishmash, love it.
Yeah, and there's 3 of us here. There's 3 of us here. So if Arsene Wenger has to sit down now, with his strongest 11, it would be very difficult for him to pick his strongest 11 because I don't even think in his head he knows what the strongest 11 is.
Well, that ain't such a bad thing, though. Not to know you.
I think it is a bad thing, mate.
I think it is. Leoff, when he's been manager for 21 years.
No, sometimes I think as a manager, you do need someone to come in and surprise you. You know what I mean, like and put the like the cat amongst the pigeons. You know, I do believe that.
Lee, look at the Chelsea when they won the league 2 years ago. There was hardly any changes throughout that team throughout the course of the season. You do need your stable team.
Oh, of course. I agree with that. But somewhere along the line, you're going to need someone stepping up and proving things different, making the manager make difficult decisions. You know, and I do believe that. You know, and I think that's where.
But he won't, will he? He's not willing to give those players the chance to come in and prove them. You know,
he has, Craig. He done it with Bellerin a couple of years ago, didn't he? I mean, Bellerin came in.
Yeah, but he only done it with Bellerin, Memz, because he had to.
Because of the injuries.
Yeah. He didn't say to Hector Bellerin. He didn't say to Hector Bellerin that night. It was in Dortmund, I think, wasn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong. He didn't say to Hector Bellerin, tonight you're playing, mate. Tonight you're going to go out there and show me what you can do. What he said to Hector Bellerin was, the shit's hit the fan, Hector. You're my only fit right back.
I ain't got no one else, mate.
I've got no one else. You're going to have to play. And the same going to happen. The same will happen with this young lad, Nelson. There's going to be a game where Ox is injured and Bellerin is injured. And he's going to say to this young lad, I've shit out, mate. You're playing today.
See, this is where I think I disagree with you there, because I think Arsene Wenger is so many times over the years hasn't given the young players that chance. What he's done is he's filled in and put players out of position and played them there. Now, I remember a couple of years ago that we had centre defence issues. He was playing Monreal centre back, and fair enough, Monreal did do a decent job. But then we had Callum Chambers, who wasn't getting an opportunity at centre back. You know, so I think that sometimes Arsene Wenger hasn't given the faith to the youth, and he has asked the player to play out of position. And when you've got a natural young player, that's his chosen position, give the youngster a chance.
But that just takes me back to Lee's point. Lee was saying that you want someone to come and surprise you, but we won't. We won't have any surprises because he's, like you said, he's putting round pegs in square holes.
Yeah. I'll tell you another thing. Does anybody see a Wobie getting into this team this season?
Do you know what? Wobie's is one of these players where he's either brilliant or he's
absolute turd. Yeah.
There's no in between, is there?
No.
I mean, I called him JJ Iwobi because of he's got his likeness to JJ Okocha, but sometimes he can do the most amazing things, you know, and he'll look absolutely mustard, and then sometimes he'll just do a simple pass where he'll just he'll screw it up.
I mean, I remember when he scored against Everton last year, I was like, this kid's going to be amazing. And then
started off really well, didn't he?
He did. And then I think the next game, then he tripped over the ball or something, and I'm like, for fuck's sake.
I think the worst thing that probably happened to Obi is we burst onto the scene and everyone got too optimistic too quickly. I honestly think the best thing that could have happened to that Yad is probably sent out on loan somewhere so he can have a bit of a reality check.
I think Wenger burnt him out a bit as well, though, Memz. You know, I think Wenger burnt him out a bit. Do you agree with that?
I do think that he probably overplayed him too.
Overused him. I would like to see him go out on loan. Honestly, I think it will be good for him. He'll get the full season of football, get a bit of a reality check, let him go and play somewhere which has not got the facilities over at Arsenal, let him realise how lucky he is to be at Arsenal as well. I think him going out on loan will be good for him because I can't see him getting into the team.
Changing the subject completely, Martinez has gone out on loan this season.
He's gone
just seen that on Sky Sports News.
Getafe, is it? I think you pronounce it.
Yes, that means the Spina stain, then, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Is there another goalkeeper covered in it? You know,
Nah.
let
I'm
the
absolutely
conspiracies
shocked.
begin. You know,
I'm absolutely shocked. I mean, I thought Jordan Pickford would have been ideal for Arsenal, and then obviously Joe Hart's gone to West Ham.
I'm going back to what I've said for the last 8 weeks. The way we have let Szczesny just walk out,
It's incredible.
It's incredible. I'll just say it one more time. That lad fucked up, yes, and was rightly punished. Okay, you can't be doing that stuff if you're a professional footballer. He was sent away. The lad has matured. The lad has become
best
statistically the best
goalkeeper in Italy last season.
In Italy, one of the best goalkeepers in Europe. We've let him walk for 15 million, and Juventus have bought him because they want him to replace Buffon. Who's the mugs here? What?
We are, mate. We are the mugs.
Do you know? If he wasn't our player, we'd have all been saying, "Sign that lad from Roma."
Yeah.
Sign that lad from Roma. You know, he could come in. He's only 25 or whatever he is. It's just it's just our club. It's just so Arsenal.
Craig, did you see the interview that he had when he was actually signed confirmed as the guy was literally heartbroken to be leaving Arsenal. And you know, when I saw that interview, it something came back to me. Was the David Rocastle story when he actually cried when he was told that he was going to be sold. These players are worth gold.
Yeah,
the players that actually care with a passion, that cry when they've been told they want to leave. These players, money can't buy these players, and that's why I love Jack Wilshere, because I honestly believe that he's an Arsenal man, and I honestly believe that it would hurt him when he left Arsenal. Players like your Tony Adams, your Rocastles, these players are embedded into Arsenal. They've been training throughout since they were kids. You know, it's their dream to play for Arsenal. I'd rather have players like that, like the Ray Parlers, than players that would just see us as a stepping stone for their careers. Players that they want to leave because we haven't got Champions League football or whatever. You know, I want to see players that want to play for Arsenal, and to just let them go for 13 million like Szczesny. I think it's a terrible bit of business.
It's just so Arsenal. I mean, the club is really, you know, it's testing my patience. I can't wait for the season to start. I have got to say that. I can't wait for the season to start.
I've got one more question because I know we're running out of time, and I think it's a very quick. So we'll do it.
But just one second there.
Quick, like yes or no answer.
So Arsenal. I mean, we bought back Wellington Silva from a loan to sell him, and then he failed the medical. Right? I mean, have you ever heard anything more Arsenal than that?
It's just.
Well, I did think that I couldn't hear anything more Arsenal than that. Yeah. And then we go and see that we win the Emirates Cup because we scored the most goals.
No, don't get me onto that, Craig. Right, last question. This is a quick question, right? Will Sanchez stay or will he go?
Go.
Not what you think, Craig. What you want? What do you think?
Oh, what do I think he will do? Or what do I want him to do?
I know what you want him to do. I'm just saying, what do you think will happen?
I think he'll go. No, I think he'll go.
You do think he'll go?
I don't think he wants to be a Saul.
You think
No.
You think he'll go now or before his contract finish?
I think he should go now, and I think we should sell him now.
Okay.
What is the point of keeping hold of him for another year when he walks out of the club for free and plays for us this season? Lee's already said it half-heartedly. Worrying about injuring himself, a long-term injury will cost him a move to wherever it is he wants to go. I don't see any point in keeping Sanchez here against his will for a year. I just don't get it. I just don't see it. But I don't know if it is against Sanchez's will. We don't know. Is Sanchez saying to them, right, okay, I'll stay this year. I'm going to stay this year, right? But I'm giving you this year to show me that you are serious about, you know, ambition. I want to see ambition. You know, put yourself in Alexis Sanchez's shoes. He's probably said it already. He wants to see ambition. He's seen Lacazette coming. Is that ambition?
No.
No, it's not. It's not. So I don't know where his mind is at or what he's said. But what I can see from the player is that he don't want to be here.
that was pretty evident as well by his Instagram picture of him being sick. I thought that was a kick in the bollocks for all the Arsenal fans. He must know how us Arsenal fans are feeling right now with the uncertainty around the club, and for him to sort of tweet something like that, or I think that was.
Yeah, but then he does tweet one, Memz, with the home with the Emirates.
Yeah, but that was last year.
How was it?
Look at the date on the picture. That was last year. You know,
I don't understand the whole. I've seen pictures of him in training, and he looks quite happy in training there, doesn't he? So he put
a video up last night of him training at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah. Try and get fit for Sunday.
For Sunday. So I mean, it would make you think. It made me think. You know, I was watching it. I was going, fucking hell, he's trying to get fit for Saturday. Okay. Well, if he so didn't want to be here, then why the fuck is he really putting it in?
I hope that there is going to be a good start to the season. I hope there is going to be some real sort of like, how can I put it? You know, we can show Alexis Sanchez that we do mean business, and I hope there's some sort of compromise between him and Arsenal where he doesn't leave on a free, that he maybe potentially signs a new contract, but there's this agreement at the end of the season where we could sell him for a certain amount of money and he could move on. But I think it would be a massive kick in the nuts for Arsenal to see our star asset leave on a free at the end of the season.
It's unforgivable. It's unforgivable. If Alexis Sanchez leaves this club on a free, it's unforgivable.
Just shows the message.
I'm going to leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. Yeah.
A shambles. Can I ask you one question? You know, with this channel that's going around with Stan Kroenke about hunting animals. If there was a channel, if there was a channel where Lee Judges had a gun and he had to go out and hunt Stan Kroenke, and you could watch it live on TV, mate, would you watch it?
I'd pay for Love Island, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'd pay for a year's subscription straight out. Take my money. Take my money.
I'd shoot his toe off by toe. You know what I mean? I'd
be like the Running Man. Do you remember that film, Arnold Schwarzenegger? Yeah.
Great,
I'll pay for that. I'll pay for that, Lee.
Lads, thank you very much.
Get the cast from Arsenal Fans TV on there.
Thanks very much for joining us this evening, Memz. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak.
Always a pleasure.
Thanks for your time. Thanks for your time, pal.
It's my pleasure.
Judge,
thanks for having us on, mate.
Thank you very much, mate.
Let's go and do it all again Sunday.
Do it all again Sunday. And we will be back next Wednesday with Harry Shotter.
Oh, yeah, with Harry.
Yeah. So we'll be interviewing Harry. That's it. Something like that, anyway.
A bit of bass.
Bit of bass line.
What an absolute top geezer, Harry.
Yeah, he knows his stuff as well.
He's a very talented lad. Can't wait to get him on. Thank you for the 400.
He's within the Guinness Book of Records.
He is. And do you know who he took the record off?
Wasn't you?
He took the record off Eminem, sir.
Did he really?
Eminem for the most lyrics rapped without stopping. There you go now.
Proud that he's a gooner.
There you go.
Absolutely. 400 of you have tuned in to us tonight to listen to us three Mosey talk a load of waffle. It's probably because of Memz, I suppose.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, the ladies wanted a bit of iPad.
Yeah, there's about 330 ladies on here now, aren't there?
Yeah, probably. But they're all going now. As they know it's the end of the show, the numbers are going down. Lads, thank you very much.
They're hoping to take his hat off.
Be a bit of a shine coming from the top of the screen. So, yeah.
Thanks to everyone who stayed.
You didn't want to burn your head, did you?
Thanks to everyone who stayed for the end. It's appreciated. If you're new to the channel this evening, please give us a subscription. Subscribe to us and you'll never miss a show. Follow us on Twitter, please, at the same old AFC, so you'll get all the news about who's coming on the shows and what time shows are. So, until next Wednesday, hopefully we'll have another pointless trophy to lift on Sunday. Well, unless you're a Man United fan, of course, then it's, that's a major one. We'll see you next Wednesday, and thanks for your support. Let's hope we beat the Chavs on Sunday. Can't see it, but let's hope we do. And until next Wednesday, up the Arsenal.